Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty heavy today.
Yeah,
Infidelity.
that's a big one.
It is. We got stories from listeners
Mm-hmm.
and some analysis from experts all about infidelity.
That's something that comes up a lot, in
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, and I think the big question that we want to try to answer today is, can a relationship truly recover after infidelity?
Right.
Like, is that trust just broken forever?
Yeah, is it possible to really move on from that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people wonder about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
And we've got sources here that argue both sides.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we've got some that say it's possible to heal,
Okay.
and then we've got others that say, look, the damage is done.
Right.
You can't come back from that.
Yeah, let's get a look at both sides.
Yeah, for sure. Because everybody's going to experience it differently. So
Exactly.
we want you to be able to walk away from this
Mm-hmm.
with a more nuanced understanding of it all.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
one of the stories that really stood out to me was from a listener named Mark. And he and his partner actually ended up getting back together
Wow.
after infidelity.
Okay.
And they built a really strong bond
Huh.
after being apart for a while and going to individual therapy.
That's amazing
Yeah.
that they were able to come back from that.
Yeah, and it made me think about, like, how is that possible? And a lot of the experts that we're going to look at seem to think that infidelity doesn't automatically mean the end of the relationship.
Okay.
So there is hope.
Yeah. Yeah. But it takes work, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, both people really have to want it.
Yeah.
Like, the person who cheated,
Uh-huh.
they really have to show that they regret it.
Like they're truly sorry.
Yeah, and they're willing to do what it takes to fix things.
To earn back that trust.
Right, exactly.
And then for the person who was cheated on.
It's got to be so hard
It is.
to even think about forgiving.
Yeah.
That takes so much strength. And I imagine forgiveness in this situation doesn't mean forgetting.
No, definitely not.
Mhm.
I think it's more about choosing to let go of the anger
Okay.
so that you can move on
Move on, yeah.
without that anger always weighing you down.
Without it always being there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, one thing that I thought was interesting was how going through something like this
Mm-hmm.
can actually force you to confront,
Oh, yeah.
like, other issues that you've been avoiding.
Like deep-rooted stuff.
Yeah, stuff that's been there maybe for years.
Right.
And you just haven't dealt with.
That makes
So
sense.
maybe in a way it can be,
Like a wake-up call.
yeah, like a wake-up call to actually communicate better
Mm-hmm.
and become closer.
And build a stronger foundation for
Yeah.
the relationship.
So it's like this horrible thing can actually lead to
Yeah.
something good.
Sometimes.
It's so wild.
But it's important to remember that not every infidelity is the same.
Right.
Like a one-time mistake is going to be different
Oh, for sure.
than like a long-term affair.
Right, like the context really matters. But
Exactly.
it's like if the relationship was already shaky, infidelity could be the thing that just,
Just brings it all down,
yeah,
like the final straw.
exactly.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us to the other side of things.
Yeah. The idea that for some people,
Yeah.
the hurt from infidelity might just never go away.
Yeah. For some people, it's just too much. Like
Yeah.
the betrayal cuts so deep
Yeah.
that you just can't,
Come back from it.
yeah, you can't ever really feel safe again.
It makes you question everything, doesn't it?
It does.
Not just about your partner anymore.
It's
like you start to doubt yourself.
yeah.
Like maybe you weren't good enough.
Like you weren't enough.
Yeah.
Oof, that's got to be rough.
It is. It can really damage your self-esteem.
And even if, like logically
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't your fault,
Right.
those feelings are still there.
Yeah, you can't just turn them off.
Yeah, it's like that little voice in the back of your head.
That just keeps whispering those doubts.
And it can take years.
Really?
Oh, yeah, years to work through that,
Wow.
and certain things can trigger it all over again.
Like what kind of things?
It could be anything, really.
Right.
A song,
Mm-hmm.
a place, even just hearing someone talk about infidelity.
Wow. So it's like a wound that never really heals.
For some people, it's like that, yeah.
We actually heard from a listener
Okay.
named Emma who tried to work things out,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately decided to walk away.
Yeah.
She just couldn't get past it.
It's hard to let go of that pain.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think her story shows that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
leading is the best thing you can do.
Sometimes it's the only way to truly heal.
Exactly.
Like, you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
You deserve to be happy.
Yeah. And it's not always easy.
No, it's not. It's really brave of her to share her story.
It is. So it sounds like
Yeah.
there are some situations where you just can't come back from it.
That's right. The damage is just too much,
Yeah, it's like a line has been crossed.
and you can't uncross it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we've talked about the potential for healing,
Mm-hmm.
but also the reasons why sometimes it's just not possible.
It's a complex issue.
It is. So how do you even know
Yeah.
if a relationship can survive this? Like,
Right.
what are the things that make a difference?
Well, one of the biggest things is communication.
Okay, so talk to each other.
Yeah, but like really talk.
Like, not just surface level stuff.
Right. You got to get deep.
Like, really dig into what happened
Yeah, and why it
and
happened.
how it made you feel.
Exactly. All the messy stuff.
Wow, so it's like ripping off the Band-Aid?
Kind of, yeah. But it's
To
necessary.
really heal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy.
I can imagine.
But if you can do it,
Yeah.
it can actually make your relationship stronger.
Oh, interesting. So it's like you come out the other side
Yeah.
more connected than before
Exactly.
because you face this huge challenge together.
And come out stronger. Okay, that makes sense. And is therapy helpful in these situations?
Oh, absolutely. It can be a game changer.
Really?
Yeah, because a therapist can help you
Yeah.
to communicate better
Uh-huh.
and work through those tough emotions.
In a safe space.
Right.
Like a neutral party.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like having a coach to help you navigate this really difficult terrain.
Exactly. So therapy is definitely something to consider.
Yeah. It sounds like it could be really beneficial.
It can be.
But are there things that make it harder to recover?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like what?
Well, if the person who cheated
Mm-hmm.
isn't really sorry,
Like they don't take responsibility.
right? Or if they keep lying,
Uh-huh.
then it's going to be really hard to rebuild trust.
Yeah, it's like they're not really committed to fixing things.
Exactly.
And what about if there were already problems in the relationship?
Right, like if the infidelity wasn't just a one-time thing, but more of a symptom of deeper issues.
A lack of communication? Or...
Yeah, or unmet needs, then it's going to be harder too, right?
Yeah, because you're not just dealing with the infidelity itself. You're dealing with all this other baggage.
Yeah, it's like you have to fix the foundation
Exactly.
before you can even start to rebuild.
And that can be really hard work.
So it's not just about fixing the infidelity.
Yeah.
It's about fixing the whole relationship.
Right. It's about addressing the root causes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, so we've talked about a lot
We have.
when it comes to infidelity.
Yeah, it's complicated.
And it sounds like there's no easy answer
Definitely not.
to whether a relationship can survive it.
It depends on so many things.
It does, right? Like each situation is unique,
Yeah, exactly. Every couple is different.
but it's not just about surviving, right?
Right.
It's about being able to actually move on.
And rebuild that trust.
Yeah, and feel safe and loved again,
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about finding a way to heal together.
if that's even possible.
Right. And sometimes it's not.
Yeah, and I think what's really important is
Yeah.
knowing yourself,
Oh, absolutely.
like what you need
Mm-hmm.
and what you're willing to tolerate.
And knowing your worth.
Yeah, because sometimes the best thing you can do
Mm-hmm.
is walk away.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to choose yourself.
It's hard though, right?
It is.
But it's also really brave.
To put your own well-being first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that takes strength.
It does. So if you're going through this right now,
Yeah.
just know that there's no right or wrong answer.
There's no magic solution.
It's about doing what's best for you.
And what feels right in your heart.
And remember Mark and Emma.
The listeners we heard from earlier.
Yeah. Mark, who decided to stay and try to work things out.
And Emma, who chose to leave.
Yeah, they both made different choices.
Right. And both are valid.
Exactly. It's all about what works for you.
And what you need to heal and move forward.
So if you were in their shoes,
Yeah.
what would you do?
That's a tough question.
It is. But it's worth thinking about.
It is. Because it makes you really examine
What's important to you? Exactly. What you value in a relationship.
and what you deserve,
Yeah, and that's something we can all benefit from.
no matter what our relationship status is.
Absolutely.
So that's it for our deep dive on infidelity.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope this has given you some things to think about.
And maybe even spark some conversations.
Until next time, take care, everyone.